high in the air and families excitedly searching for the perfect Christmas tree. Hello, honorable judges, fellow FFA members, and guests. My name is Gary Shemansky.
And my name is Wesley Kaczynski. Marissa Pearl will be our tech assistant, and we are the North Huron FFA demonstration team with our demonstration entitled Cultivating Christmas, from Seedling to Season. Timekeeper, we are ready to begin. During today's demonstration, we will talk about how a local farmer skis trees goes about growing trees from a sapling all the way up to full-size Christmas trees. Michigan is the third largest producer of Christmas trees in the U.S. And actually, a farm from Michigan provided the Christmas tree for the White House. It takes years of skilled labor and correct timing in order to grow a full-size Christmas tree.
During today's demonstration, we will educate you on how to 1. Prepare the area for planting. 2. Plant the saplings. 3. Caring for the trees as they grow. 4. Trimming and shaping. 5. Harvesting full-grown trees. 6. Wrapping and customer preparation. And 7. Recycling after the holiday season. Today, we will be using Fraser fir trees. However, the steps we're demonstrating remain similar across all varieties. There's a few popular varieties used during the holiday season, including various types of fir, spruce, and pine. The type of tree you pick depends on your preference of size, shape, and smell, since they all vary a little in these qualities.
Let's review the tools and equipment we will be using today for our demonstration. We will wear gloves to protect our hands. We will wear safety glasses to protect our eyes. We will also wear long sleeves and pants to protect our bodies from the sun and the pokey pine needles. And finally, we will wear boots in order to protect our feet when walking around the farm and handling heavy objects.
Let's go over the tools needed for today's demonstration.
We will need a jar for our soil sample, a pump-up sprayer, metal stakes, and twine.
We will need a tape measure, a double bar, our sapling, and some hand lockers.
We will also use a measuring pole and corresponding color-coded tape. We will also use a price tag. And for today's demonstration, we will be using a bow saw to harvest our Christmas tree and a smaller than life-size Christmas tree wrapper.
Let's talk about how to prepare our site.
The first step in site preparation is choosing the correct area. We must choose a space with full sun and soil with good drainage. We will also test our soil for the correct pH. Christmas trees thrive in a soil of a pH of 5 to 6. We will then remove any materials from the area, and we will cut and mow all grasses and weeds that are growing within this area. We will then spray the area with a contact herbicide until all the grasses and weeds are dead.
Spacing is important. We plant each tree 5 to 8 feet apart within the rows and 6 to 8 feet apart between each row. This allows our trees to grow and fill out nicely, and giving them a radius of about 3 to 4 feet once they are fully grown. And this also determines their future size and shape. We allow for a little extra room between rows so that as the trees grow and are harvested, our customers and employees can move freely and transport tools easier.
Now that our Christmas tree spacing is measured, we can move on to our step of marking out our Christmas trees. We will use the metal stakes and place them by where our Christmas trees will be planted, and we will also tie twine in between these stakes as a reference point when planting our saplings. We will ensure that our saplings are planted completely plumb so that they grow straight.
Now we will start actually digging our holes. There's a few types of saplings you might have. Our sapling has a root ball, which means the roots are all wrapped up with dirt in a ball shape. For this type of sapling, you will dig just as deep as the root ball and 2 to 3 times wider around. We have that depth pre-marked with our yellow tape. The other type of sapling you may have is one with bare roots. This means that the roots flow freely. For this type of sapling, you dig 1 inch deeper than the length of the roots, which we suggest you cut all roots to be the exact same length, which is usually 12 inches. So we dig 13-inch holes marked using our red tape. Then we backfill so that the root flare where the root meets the trunk is at ground level.
Once our Christmas tree is planted, we will ensure that our root moisture is maintained. We will pack the soil around our Christmas tree in order to hold in the moisture. We can also water in our Christmas tree using a bucket of water.
Now that our trees are planted, we will move on to our next step, which occurs each growing season. We watch for pests like mites and fungal diseases such as pine needle scale. If we find that our trees do have pests or diseases, the best way to treat it is by using pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. We will also remove any weeds so that our trees do not have to compete for nutrients.
Now that our Christmas tree is planted, we will ensure that we water during droughts. There are many ways to water during droughts. One way that we have found is by hauling water to our Christmas trees using a series of buckets. We can also use a series of pumps and hoses in order to water our Christmas trees. Finally, drip irrigation systems can be used on larger operations in order to speed up the watering process.
Let's move on to trimming. Trimming is very important. We start at the top. Pine trees grow multiple top shoots, and we only want one, the straightest and strongest. Wesley will cut off any other competing tops so that our leader can grow strong. The distance from the top of the leader to the first branch shows 1 year of growth. We will then shear our tree from the top downward, ensuring to cut off any twisted or uneven branches, and just trim off the first few inches of other branches to stunt the tree's growth outward. This allows our trees to have that nice cone shape our customers love. For larger applications, they might use a machete, which is the same way, it just speeds up the process.
Now that our Christmas tree is trimmed for the final time, we will move on to our next step, which is harvesting our Christmas tree. The first step in harvesting your Christmas tree is measuring and marking the height of our Christmas tree. We will do this using the measuring pole and setting it down on the ground next to our Christmas tree and referencing the top of the Christmas tree to the pole. We will then use our color-coded marking ribbon and mark our Christmas tree. The average Christmas tree height is around 6 to 7 feet tall. However, we will ensure that we have other heights in our stock for unique applications.
During this color coding process, we also need to price our trees. Wesley will do this now. Pricing can depend on the type of tree and the size. For example, a 6 to 8 foot Fraser is about $80, whereas a 10 to 11 foot Fraser is about $180. And a 6 to 8 foot Scotch pine is only about $60. But prices can vary from place to place.
Now that our Christmas tree is properly marked, we can move on to harvesting our Christmas tree. For this step, we will be using a bow saw.
Other saws that can be used are different types of pole saws, hand saws, and chainsaws. If you use a chainsaw, please make sure you have hearing protection on and chainsaw shafts. For harvesting, we cut 1 to 2 inches above the ground and cut away from yourself to prevent injury. We then will tip the tree outward so it falls safely.
Now that our Christmas tree is cut down, we will transport it to the shaking station. There are many ways to transport Christmas trees. One way that we have found that we can transport our Christmas tree is using a car. We could also drag our Christmas tree from the stump so that our branches do not bend back and break. Now that we're at the shaking station, we can begin to shake our Christmas tree. The purpose of shaking the Christmas tree is to remove any dead or loose needles from the Christmas tree, along with any pests that may be living or growing on the Christmas tree.
Now that our tree has been shook, we will bring it over to our wrapping station. As we said earlier, we will be using smaller applications for demonstration purposes. The first step of wrapping is cutting off just the first inch of base. This allows our tree to stand straight and drink water easier so it stays healthy longer. Then we put the tree face first into the opening of the baler, and I compress on the needles so it goes in safely, and Wesley is ensuring that just enough wrapping is coming off at one time. After the tree is through the baler, we will gather the netting and cut it using scissors. When our customers take it home, we give them a few tips. We tell them to water often, but watch that you don't give them too much. There is some special Christmas tree miracle grow you can add to the water. You should keep the trees away from any heat sources to prevent them from drying out and to also help prevent fires. And use LED lights to also prevent heat on the needles.
Once the Christmas season is over, let's review how we can recycle our Christmas trees safely. We can recycle our Christmas trees in a variety of different ways. One way that we have found is for animal habitat and wildlife habitat. This could be fish habitat, rabbit habitat, and even turkey habitat. We can also mulch up our Christmas trees for later uses. Finally, we can feed our Christmas trees to our farm animals, such as goats, which enjoy them as a good snack.
It takes years of hard work to get a perfectly shaped and healthy Christmas tree.
Let's review the steps we took today for our demonstration. We reviewed how to choose the correct site and prepare it. We demonstrated how to plant our saplings. We demonstrated how to care for our trees as they grew, how to trim and shape our Christmas tree, and number 5, how to harvest our Christmas tree, and wrapping and customer preparation, and finally, how to recycle our Christmas tree at the end of the season.
Thank you for coming along on our journey here at Ski's Trees, where we showed you how to take care of a Christmas tree from a sapling all the way to its fully grown stage.
Timekeeper, this concludes our demonstration. Our references were provided to the judges prior to our demonstration.
Thank you, judges. We will now answer any questions you may have.